stock items, groups and categories, followed by unit of measurement and locations. We are going to use the following examples: drywall screws, self-tapping screws, panes. These three different types of items, we are going to group them. Hello everyone, I'm Hakeemuddin from Sefi Computers. Today we are going to talk about creation of stock item masters in TallyPrime accounting software. These are the topics which we are going to cover today: stock items, groups and categories, followed by unit of measurement and locations. Then we'll follow it up with an example of purchase and sales transactions. For this particular session, we are going to use the following examples: drywall screws, self-tapping screws, panes. Three different types of items. These three different types of items, we are going to group them. So we are going to call the groups as drywall screws, self-tapping screws and panes, so that we can have multiple items created inside each group. Plus, we are going to track the brand in our stock categories. So we are going to create two brand names here, which one of them is Handyman Screws, the other one is National Paints. After the creation of masters, we are going to look at few purchase and sales transactions, followed by some important reports in the system. So let us start. This is Tally software. Once you have opened and created a new company, you can use the option of creating masters from here. Stock group under inventory masters, and the first stock group I'm going to create it as drywall screws. One question here the system wants to know: do you want to add quantities inside? So if you want to total up all the drywall screws that you have in your company, then you can say yes. If you don't want to do it, leave it at no. Second category group, self-tapping screws, accept. And third one is paints, accept. So I've created three groups here. I'll quit or press escape on my keyboard to go back to my old screen. Then I'm going to create stock category. I want to have first brand here called Handyman Screws. I'm using brands as my stock categories, accept. National Paints as a second category, and I will accept. Now I have my grouping and categorization ready. So I will proceed with creation of stock items. So first item, I'm going to refer to my slide here. So I've got, let's say, drywall screws. So let me copy the description to keep things quick. Then here I can see the list of groups I've created. So I want to put it under drywall screws and the unit of measure. So I can create the unit of measure directly from the screen. I've used the create option and I would say I measure this in pieces. And I don't need any decimal tracking for pieces. Now I don't see the category by default. So I can go to configure option here and enable this use category for stock items. Make it yes and just click on accept. So now you will see the category option. I want to put it under Handyman Screws. You can define standard purchase and sales prices, other behavior options. Now all these different options on your screen, you can configure them. Whatever you mark it as yes are going to appear on your screen. Whatever you say no will not appear. So moving on, you can define the statutory details, that is whether these items are taxable, yes or no. Once you have finished these relevant details for your transactions related to your tax and standard rates, you can click on accept. I'll create the second item here. So I have got this drywall fine thread. Again, they're drywall screws under Handyman Screws and the unit of measure is pieces. Accept. Next, I have got self-tapping screws under self-tapping and Handyman is the brand, measured in pieces. Accept. Second example, self-tapping screws under Handyman, measured in pieces. Accept. The last example, we have paints. So we have got two paints here very quickly. And this will be grouped under paints and category is National Paints. And I want to measure even this in pieces. You could even measure this in liters. So if you want to create liters as your measurement, if you're selling paints in liters, if you're selling cans or pieces of pre-packed liters, then pieces would be an ideal option. Second, National Matte Synthetic Enamel. Grouped under paints, categorized under National Paints, measured in pieces, and then accept. That's how I create my stock items, so on and so forth. And in the new versions of Tally has given an option to even import data. You could import master data from Excel sheets. We could cover that in a separate video. Again, now I'm quitting the screen, going back. So I've created three things: stock groups, stock categories, and stock items. And while creating the stock items, I also created the unit of measure. If you want to create a unit of measure separately, you could go into the unit. For example, you can say kgs, kilograms, and maybe you want to measure that in 3 decimal places if you want to measure it under grams also. Accept it. Quit. So that's how you could create a unit of measure. The last topic called masters creation is the location in our example. by default, the main location exists and we can create new location from here. So I want to create a location called store and I will accept this. Once these masters are created, we are going to move to our transaction. So where we are going to create different vouchers and reports. We are going to look at purchase, sales, and a few reports very quickly. For vouchers, I will go to the gateway of Tally and I will click on vouchers here. From the right side menu, I will click on purchase. Let me give today's date here, 30th of September 24. Now I'm using an educational version, so this date is not allowed. So let me put 1st of September 24. Supplier invoice number. Here I can select my supplier company, provide more relevant details if required, and now start selecting the item. So I'm going to select all the screws here. They are going to my main location, quantity 1000 pieces at the rate of 0.25 per piece. Now this is only an example. You could actually put in the relevant values based on your line of business. Main store, 1000 pieces, 0.26. Next item, I've got self-tapping screws, again in the main store, 2000 pieces, 0.30. Self-tapping screw fan head, main location, 2000 pieces, 0.35. Once I have provided all the relevant inventory information, then I can hit enter twice on my keyboard and select my tax option. In this case, we have VAT at 5%, so tax is calculated automatically on the items. Once you have cross-checked your information, hit the accept button on your system's screen, and the voucher will be saved. Now I'll quit the screen or click escape to go back. So I can come back here on the vouchers, click on sales. Now 1st of September, I want to record a sales for my customer. Now the moment I look at my stock item list, I can hit a spacebar on my keyboard and then I can see a list of items and I can see how much stock I have in my company. So let's say I want to sell this drywall screws. I can see which location is having what quantity. Right now it is in main location. I want to sell 244 pieces at 0.50 each. And I want to select my tax, which is VAT. Once my sales invoice is ready, I will accept it. So I've recorded a purchase and sales voucher. Now I'll go back to the screen. One important report on the gateway of Tally is your stock summary. You can click on it and you can see that how much of drywall screws you have. Enter and you can see different drywall screws available in the system. Similarly, self-tapping screws. If you want to see this by stock item directly without the grouping, then click on this F5 option here, and then you can see a list of all your stock items in one place. Escape to go back. Another important report you can go from here is your stock query. Stock query for any item will quickly show you what is the cost price, selling price, you have purchased it from whom last time, sold it to whom, and items of same category available on your screen. Escape to go back. And then if you want to view more information about inventory, you can easily come here and look at relevant reports. There are different reports available which you can choose. For example, stock item reports, you have got these stock queries and top buyers and sellers. Plus, you can go to display more reports, and here you have got two more categories under inventory books and statements of inventory. Under inventory books, you have got stock item information, location information, group-wise summary, category-wise summary. You could visit these reports, have a look at the display and see which one works for you better. Similarly, for the statements of inventory, one of the important reports is the movement analysis. So you could select any specific stock item and then you can see the inward and outward movement, like how many suppliers you bought it from, what price, and then a summary of all your sales. So that's it about the basics of inventory. Keep practicing and keep learning. Thank you and have a nice day. This is Hakeemuddin signing off from Cefi Computers. For more information about our company and the product, you can visit tally.ae. Thank you and have a nice day.